up, guys? We are at Motorsports Ranch, Crescent, not Houston. We are in the spec Miata today. I am here to learn a new track and a new car and a new driving technique. So this will be my home away from home for the next 3 days. Today is testing day, so we've got 5 sessions out, 4 or 5 sessions that I get to go out and learn the track and kind of get my feet under me. But let me tell you why we're even here in the first place. As I'm racing in Europe in prototypes, you only really get 3 to 7 rounds. So that's not a lot of seat time. And Danny, my co-driver and business partner, you guys met him, suggested that I get into some cheap racing stateside so I can just get more seat time. So the spec Miata achieves a couple things for me. 1, more seat time while I'm away from Europe, more racecraft, all that good stuff. 2, it puts me in a kind of a graduated level car because I used to be driving Mazda 2s. So this is a level up. So it's all about that skill and honing those techniques that I could use in Europe ultimately. This car is a little bit different from the Mazda 2. It doesn't have traction control, no ABS, and a lot more power. And 4th, most importantly, no auto blip. So I do have to heel toe. And fun fact, I don't know how to do that. So the first couple sessions are gonna be me learning how to heel toe in a new car at a new track. My technique here is really just to get out there and feel the track, feel where the grip is, get the car underneath me. There's always that kind of like pre-driving jitter moment, you know, where you lose almost all confidence that you can drive a car at all. But I know I can drive. I race prototypes. You guys saw me do it, I promise. This is just a different car, different platform, but all the same fundamentals. So first session out in the next 30 minutes, and then we'll get out and give a little reaction, but that's where we're at for now. I'm excited. Let's get to it. Okay guys, we just got done with a very icy cold first session and I'm feeling pretty good about it. The spec Miata treated me well. I was able to catch it when it was sliding, but the first couple laps, I mean, it was like ice skating. The tires were so cold, did a little burnout outside of the pits and they got sideways a couple times, but you can catch it pretty easily, which was nice. You know, I'd almost rather it oversteer so I can catch it so I know what it feels like. I'm not Molly, ignore that. But session was good. Once the tires got fired up, the grip was there. I was starting to test the braking zones, you know, typical racing driver stuff. Every braking zone, you push it 6 inches, another foot. And then what I was really working on was heel toe. So these don't have what's called auto blip. Basically, when you downshift, you need to match the engine revs to the gear. So you go from 4th to 3rd, you slam the throttle, engine revs way up, and then when you pull the clutch back out, it'll slam into gear, but it won't do that like lunging thing. The problem with that is if you don't do that, you can ruin a gearbox or a transmission. 2, it slows you down and it unsettles the car, so you can get really tweaky. I had a blast though. Spec Miata, way more fun than Mazda 2, a lot more like a normal race car that I'm used to. So that rear wheel drive, engine in the front, lots of oversteer, you know, get to practice that for sure. So the seat time's great so far. I was trading places with lots of people, which is the other goal of mine. But yeah, this thing's great. I am ready to get back out there, but I'm gonna go warm up. Got about an hour to go. Next session, more heel toe practice, and I need to carry more speed into some of these corners. So I got lapped like 2 times by the fast guys, which I expected. You know, I expect to have my ass handed to me by these guys. But next session, I want to keep up with the group if I can, and really see where they take their lines. And that's my goal. So if I can keep up with the group, session 2 will be a success. Let's go. Okay, second session done. I was a lot faster, so first thing I want to get that out of the way. I went from like a 134, I'm at a 128 now, so that's a 6-second gap I just closed. I only got passed by the front of the field, like the first 4 cars. So I'm starting to realize that those guys, they know this track, they know those cars, so there's no chance I'm in a top 4. But there's 2 or 3 guys out there that I'm definitely faster than just after 2 sessions. So one, we only have like 10 Miatas in the field, so I'm gonna finish top 10. That's good. But I think I'm starting to go for like a top 7, top 6. Look at me getting all competitive already. We started running out of fuel at the end of that session, so like full throttle, I was getting no power, and I thought I broke something, but I didn't. The other goal that I wanted to achieve this session was getting better at auto blipping, and definitely, I mean, that's miles better. All I thought about was I want this gear and I know it's down, so I need to blip. So I just slammed on the throttle, revved it up and got into third or whatever it was. I didn't use second very much this time because I was carrying more speed, and I actually kind of liked it. My concern, there's a couple uphill bouts where third might be no bueno, but we'll see next session. We got 2 more sessions. I'm gonna see what kind of pace I can keep up with. I think what I'll do next time is start at the back of the grid and then see if I can keep up with the pack, because this time I had to let a bunch of people go. But had a blast. I mean, first session was a little bit of nerve-wracking, you know, new car, new track, getting your legs under you. Second session, it was me in the car. We were pushing braking limits. Yes, I locked up a wee bit, / a lot. There was a lot of smoke. But you're not pushing if you're not locking up. But I'm happy with the session, so we're gonna go let the dogs out and then grab like a real coffee and then come back. We got, I think, 2 hours, so got some time to kill. Come along with us. Welcome to the warm, warm car.
Got the heat seat on full. It's cold.
Gas station review number 1. Good. Check it out. Balling out of control over here. These are Holdens. I like my little purple Jenna. I'm Jenna up front and Molly in the back. What's that?
Yeah, those from over there.
I'm.
Now we're gonna get you.
Nice and warm. The Jenna end of the vehicle is very warm. I'm liking this car.
Do you feel like you did better?
So I got a 126.2, I think is what I saw. And then I had almost 4/10 down on one lap. And it all came from, there's this rattlesnake section, which maybe we'll pop it up on the screen or something. But it's like a deep braking zone into a late apex to the right, and then you shift back to the left for a really tight left-hander, and then you basically copy paste that same complex to the next section. And what we were talking about earlier is trying to figure out what gear to do that in. I have been in third the whole time, but I always get bogged down on the second apex to the left. Then I tried second, and I'm just like, wah, off the rev limiter. And I just don't feel like that's productive, because then I just have to shift back up in a third. So to answer the question, what I think I did better is I stuck with third, downshifted, blipped, which I'm doing much better with, and then carry third. But now the key is if you want to make sure you maintain power, you get back to throttle a lot earlier. So we're going to try that next session. An early throttle on the left-hander. Everything else was pretty quick, to be honest. Here, we'll walk this way. Everything else felt really quick. I was keeping up with the other spec Miatas. In fact, I didn't get lapped by any spec Miata. I got lapped by a Porsche. So that was a win that I kept kind of up with everybody. I did let a couple people go by, so I slowed down in the beginning, but I was really curious how I would have done if I kept up with them. So that's my goal for this next one. But it's really carrying momentum. You guys can't see it, but there's a turn right behind that Crown Vic cop car thing, and it's a long sweeping right-hander. I just saw myself in the window. These are very fashionable. But there's this really long right-hander, and I've been doing it in fourth, and I get bogged down at the other end. So Justin was like, try third. So I'm gonna downshift to third there, trail in, and then the next corner is a third gear corner as well, and the following one is a third gear corner. So I think downshifting early in this long sweeper is gonna set me up for a lot more power on the straights. So I'm gonna try that. I'll wear these the whole time while I'm driving because, you know, why not? But yeah, I'm having a blast. This thing is super quick. I'm not even pulling everything out of this car. No understeer really to speak of, maybe one area, but I think it's because the car gets light. And when the car gets light, you lose traction, so you get understeer or potentially oversteer. But I'm liking it. What do you guys think? Should we buy a Miata for recap? Then we can all race it. Anyway, we're gonna get prepped for another session in about an hour. And then that's it. Then it's race day tomorrow, baby. it's humbling to go from a prototype to the spec Miata and just like start relearning everything. Because with the prototypes, I'm at that point where I'm like finding tenths, hundredths. You know, racing problems. Tomorrow's a new day. You guys probably want to know how it all went, huh? You guys are so needy. Come on. Come on. I'll take you on a little tour of my home away from home. So, obviously, helmet, Hans device, which you guys all went on that journey in the vlog, but if you, come here. This is basically just a pure sheet metal seat with some padding on it. It's actually pretty comfortable. Steering wheel goes up here. It's actually really,
I got weight pressure
every time. It's really hard to drive the car with the steering wheel so high up, but you just have to work through it. We've got this box over here is a cooler box, so you can actually hook a shirt up to it for summer. So it keeps cool water running through your suit, which is nice because I'm actually not too sweaty right now, but in the summer, forget about it. We've got switches there. I honestly don't know what they do. Master switches over there. I've got a fire pole in here just in case I catch on fire tomorrow. And then a big old roll cage. But, you know, this is kind of home away from home. Tires are looking pretty used. These tracks and these cars usually like a worn tire, but it was feeling pretty greasy out there toward the end of the session. And I think that just comes down to it's a warm day. Racing line is all greased up from people scrubbing off rubber effectively, because basically what is missing from the tire ends up on the track. So, you know, it's just rude, is what it is. But the session went really well. I knocked a second off. I now have to find 2 seconds, which is very frustrating. Justin, who's driving that car, he was doing 23.5s in this car. I am perfectly capable of doing that, he says to himself. But I need to figure out where that's going to happen. So I'm at the point where I'm not plateauing, but I am getting to the point where we have to figure out where my problem areas are. And I think the big one is maintaining momentum. So there's a couple areas where I could shift down in a second, but I think I need to keep third, but get to throttle earlier. And I need to brake a little bit less in certain areas. And I think that's probably worth a second. But tomorrow's quali. I think there's a practice session, then quali, and then a race. So this will be another 2 sessions tomorrow. It won't be a full test day. Quali race, we'll see how we do. I think we've got like 10 people on the grid, so I'll finish top 10. There's a couple people I'm definitely faster, so I'll probably out-qualify them. So we're probably looking at somewhere like top 7. Don't know what times yet, but so far so good. Now we're gonna pack up, help Chris with whatever he needs, and then go get some food, let the dogs out. But good day. Today's the day. First race. Going into it excited, and that's actually it. I'm excited. Especially when you go into a race like just casual. It's not a prototype race. It's not part of my goals, my end goals. Like, you can kind of put your competitive spirit aside a little bit and not get yourself all worked up. But I go back and forth on that. Like, you need to be competitive, but the goal of this is just seat time and racecraft. Okay guys, it is race number 1. I have learned that I'm P8, so I'll be lining up probably on the outside of a 2-car column. We're gonna try to stay in P8, but at this point, I don't know if I'll have anyone to race. So we're just gonna go out, look good. That's what these are for. And treat it as another test session. I'm gonna try to find that extra second because we have another race tomorrow. It's a 35-minute race, so I think I can squeak out some more pace and do a better job tomorrow. But yeah, I'm excited. This group is finishing up now. We're gonna get loaded up in the cars. Justin's now just getting ready. So we're gonna go out there, line up and see what we can do. Let's get to it. Thanks to that purple guy. Okay guys, it's the return of the sunglasses. I'm now officially at this point where I'm kind of falling in love with these glasses because Holden keeps making me wear them. So I may be getting a pair. And then the other thing we've discovered is we need racing recap hoodies so we can rep the brand because there's some other drivers. Pro tip, if you ever start a race team, go to races and you'll find drivers that want to join you. So I just got done with the first race ever in the spec Miata, and man, it was a blast. Like everything that you're frustrated about from qualifying and practice because you're so focused on times, everything that's in your head kind of goes away, at least if you're good at separating that. And all I was concerned about was keeping up with the guys in front, finding the line that was fastest, and getting by wherever I could find opportunities. So turns out I'm not total shit at racing. I had a blast. Tomorrow's a 35-minute race. So I think with that extra 10 minutes, and maybe if we can keep the race clean, and I'll tell you what I mean by that in a second, I think I can get by a person or two. So during this race, we went out, we did 10 laps. I ended up getting by a purple Miata. He went off, you can probably see it if you look over there, where the car's coming through that left-hander right now. He went off there, he came back onto the track, and then he was super slow, so I bunched up behind him, got by him through this turn back here. He ended up switching me back through the rattlesnake section, but I followed him all the way back and I just said, I'm gonna fill his mirrors. And I think he panicked on the exit of kind of a long left-hander and he just spun around. Insert GoPro footage or whatever I have from the over the shoulder. But I was able to get by him, and that through a safety car, which is good and bad. One, I was able to get back up with the pack and restart. And you always get an extra chance to kind of get by somebody. But the second thing is your tires get really cold, so you're tentative on the restart. But toward the end, we only had 3 more laps. I was actually catching the guy in front of me. So with that extra 10 minutes tomorrow and no safety car, I think I can comfortably get by him and gap him. So I might finish top 7 tomorrow. I didn't finish last today, so that's good. And I overtook somebody, also good. So tomorrow I'm gonna go for one more overtake and maybe knock that extra second off. I will say my Delta was showing probably the equivalent of like a 24, the high 24s in the race. And just goes to show you like chasing somebody gets you that time. But I had a blast. I look good in these sunglasses. So tomorrow is gonna be stupid cold, but we are gonna race again, maybe another quali. But for now, we're gonna go get some wicked photos for a new racing friend of mine. So why don't you join us? It's Sunday. I'm a little tired. We've got a 35-minute race ahead of me. Or we have a 35-minute race ahead of us. Whatever. But there is a race group going out right now. It's group 2. We're group 3. My number one goal for this race is to get down in the low 25s, maybe even break 24. So I've achieved all my goals for this weekend. Learned how to heel toe, learned how to drive the spec Miata, built a relationship with it, and now I'm just finding speed. So this is just going to be kind of same old for me. Lots of testing, different braking, different racing lines. See if I can break into the 24s, and please let me not get lapped. So I'm gonna have some work to do. I may be battling with one other person, maybe, but it's a balmy 25 degrees or something stupid like that, maybe even 30, so it's very cold. Icy tires the first couple laps, so we gotta fire those up and then get to work. I'm excited. I've achieved everything I wanted to achieve this weekend. I would be lying to you if I didn't say I'm ready for the next race now that I have some laps under me, but I'm happy with it so far. So, to avoid being a popsicle, I've got my hand warmers, I've got my cool shades. We're gonna go get suited up, get in the car, get it fired up, and start warming up. So, next time you see me, I'll be racing. We'll see you out there. So, race done. 35 minutes of, for me, just lapping. I had my own race. Apparently I didn't come last, so that was good. Let me go through it just chronologically really quick, because there was some interesting stuff, then it came kind of boring after a while. There was one Miata. We went out of the pits under safety car and just spun a meter after the pit exit, so that was pretty funny. We let him by, and then he spun again on like 2 corners later. He got back in line, came back around. We did 2 out laps, safety car laps, just to warm up the tires because it's super cold outside. I think it's probably 35, maybe pushing 40. Then we got into the race start, and I actually really nailed this one, and then I not so much nailed it later, but I'll tell you that in a second. So when you start, it's double file, and each car is just lined up nose to tail. So I came in, I was gridded up last in the left side, so I was on the inside of turn 1. And once the cars go green at the beginning, you can just hammer it. And I got a jump on the guy that was gridded up next to me, which was awesome because I got by him very easily, slotted in front of him, blocked off his exit to the next turn. I went wide in that first turn. I think the tires had more grip than maybe I knew, so I probably should have kept it tight. So he got by me, but I was keeping up with the pack, and then this tight like S's section, rattlesnake, tires weren't quite fired up, so I chucked it into the second corner, and I just basically, I didn't spin, but I went all the way out to the outside, caught some grass, had to get going again. So I lost quite a bit of space to the front pack. After that, I just settled into lapping. Apparently that one dude who kept spinning spun out at some point, I guess insert footage here, but I didn't get last. I actually did achieve one goal. I got a 24.8 or 9, maybe even a 24.7, I'm not sure, but we can put it up down here somewhere. So I achieved that goal. I melted away about half a second. I still have another second to find if I wanted to catch up to the faster guys, but the 35-minute race was awesome. It let me kind of find my groove, really see where the time was, see what the car could do, even though I was kind of losing tires toward the end. Downside, I did get lapped by the first 3 cars, but keep in mind they're like alien level fast, so not letting that get to me too much. I will probably obsess about it all the way home. But this weekend was awesome. Test day was great. I was slow as shit, but started to get to know the car. Quali and race yesterday, awesome. I was feeling really good about it. Didn't finish last. And then the second, or today, I did a qualifying this morning and actually got a faster time in the cold tires, so that was good, cold track. And then this race just felt amazing. So if I were to walk away with one thing that I think is the biggest win, is that I'm set up to go do well in Miata races from now on, because I have a feel for the car underneath me. I know what the car is going to do. I think another test day, like a local track, and then hit another race, I should be running in the top 15, top 10, depending on the grid. But I have no doubt in my mind that after a year of doing this, I should be running in the top 5 at least. So the fundamentals are there, just need to keep practicing. It's all about the seat time. But I'm super happy. At this point, I'm tired, I'm a little hungry. We have to pack up all this circus, go grab the dogs, and head back to Austin. We got about a 3-hour drive ahead of us, but so far so good. Holden is extremely cold right now, bundled up. But,
Yeah, I'm freezing my off right now.
What'd you think?
I thought it was sick. I think this was a good local and like cheaper thing to hop into. Just get more seat time.
Yeah.
And experiment with just a different racecraft, I guess.
Totally.
Get more verse in different kinds of things, and I think all that will translate over just as you build more experience overall in racing. So it gives you more knowledge too, to understand like how certain cars react, and being able to describe that to your engineers down the road.
Yeah, feedback is a big deal. Yeah, really this is all about seat time. And if you guys are into racing, Miatas, B-Spec, even the Rushes, anything that's like spec series that's local, it's pretty not ineffective, but cheap, like inexpensive is what I was saying. And you can get into it, hop in, just do some weekend warrior stuff. Or for the professional drivers or semi-professional like myself, I use it just to get seat time and knock the rust off. So I achieved all my goals. At this point, I think that's another one in the books. Something has happened every time we've come out to do these like videos with you. So this time it seems like the cold followed us in. We had 22 degrees this morning. Good news is the cars make more power in the cold. But I think next time we're looking at, I've got a 15-hour race in a Miata coming up next month, and then my very first Praga race at the end of March. So there's gonna be a ton of racing coming up. Hopefully all of that will translate to just honing those skills as we go. But yeah, looking forward to the next one. So on to Austin.